All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Amber, if you could take notes here. Board, you have an agenda in front of you. Are there any changes? None? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All right. All in favor say yay.
Aye.
Aye.
That too.
All opposed? All right. Vote carries 5-0. We have in front of you the consent agenda with approval of meeting minutes from our regular meeting 1/20/2025, committee of the whole meeting 2/3/25, committee of the whole meeting closed session 2/3/25, approval of accounts payable 948,948,980.54 for the month of January 2025. Approval of the treasurer's report dated 1/31/2025 with a balance of $4,488,316.34. And then the approvals of new hires, resignations, and retirements.
Yep, we had a new hire, sorry, I'm trying to fast here. We had a new hire, Gabriel, and he worked for 2 hours. The next day he called off, and then he ended up deciding it wasn't for him. It was the day he worked for 2 hours, Frank, that was the day we had bad weather, so we sent staff home, yeah. And then he resigned as well, so we kind of just put both of those on there as one little swoop there. Ryan St. John, he is our work-based learning consultant with Eastern Service Area. He's going to start in August. So they were able to hire for that position, so that's coming up in August. They got it locked in so that we can hang on to it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All right, roll call vote.
Corsi,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Gillette,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Shute,
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. All right. On to reports. At this time, we will allow community input on agenda items only. Do we have anybody for community input? You'll get 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Nope. Okay. Galesburg City Council, Tony Tipkin.
Want me to come to the seat?
Yeah,
You
you
are
got
more
it.
than
And
welcome.
our microphones aren't working, so just pretend
That's
like-
fine. Honestly, our meeting this month, I didn't really have anything to bring to you guys, but I wanted to sit through your meeting to see if you guys had anything to bring to us. The only thing that I thought of while, actually today, is anyway I see our safety resources and officer isn't here for some information, but what we can do to help assist with that no left turn out of the primary school, because no parents, 90% of the parents do not abide by that, what you guys are trying to enforce for the pickup drop-off times.
Manpower.
I understand, because I know you've been out there directing traffic. You know, Mr. Ball's been out there directing traffic, but it seriously congests the parking lot. And if people would just follow it, then it would be an easy flow for everybody in and out of that parking lot. Probably safer for the staff that are especially there in the morning trying to get kids out of cars and into the school. But I thought about that. You guys have tried. You've coned it off. You've posted it multiple times about no left turns. Let's all turn right and circle around. It's about a 30-second to a minute out of your way, maybe. Which, some people understand, some don't. But I just think it would make it easier and safer for everyone. I just don't know how we could enforce it. Like I said, I think you guys have done everything you can. sending memos out to parents multiple times every school year, and I just didn't know if the safety officer would have any more info that he might be able to put in on it that even the city could help enforce.
Which we can always have them contact him directly and see if there's any other things that they can help with.
I can also contact our officer during our meeting, Deputy Cooper, who's the main for the city, and she might know something too, but it was just a thought that I had.
Not substantive discussion during this part, right?
Correct, and that's why I'm trying to help direct that,
Yeah.
so we don't keep just waiting.
Okay, good.
Is that a-
All right, well, thank you so much.
All right.
I'll get with you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
All right, superintendent update.
All right, we have. So here's you guys can see it. In front of you, you have your superintendent's report. As always, we've got our strategic plan, which I'd like to keep you updated with as to where we are. For increasing student awareness and accountability for negative behaviors, we've had this year, last year we did a lot of work with our whole child team, which was a group of teachers and staff members that helped create our whole child handbook. This year, what we're doing is we're using our climate and culture specialist or consultant to be able to help our deans implement that whole child handbook. So building the capacity of the leadership team to then continue to make sure things are coming alive. So one thing that from our last whole child meeting that we had was we're going to do trainings for our itinerant staff, such as bus drivers, paraprofessionals, recess staff, to be able to work with kids and follow some of our whole child expectations in the districts. We treat students with respect and teach them up versus just kind of yelling and getting in trouble. So improving relationships to increase trust in the district. So we had our panorama data that I gave you guys last month in January. We saw all the green that we moved to. We were in red, we moved to green. That is our third year of doing panorama, so we are no longer going to spend the $7,000 on that program. We are, however, going to have a staff satisfaction survey that we give out to staff and families via Google that we can monitor and use to grow. So we'll be putting one of those together, getting feedback from staff, getting feedback from parents if we're missing anything, and then launch that out next fall. We have a lot of work to do in that still, but that's one way to be able to keep an eye on what we're trying to look for. Career readiness. We had our career fair at the high school. How many people did we have come? We had 30 people-ish that were different organizations and whatnot come, so the kids can learn different skills. We had our STEAM mapping and professional development at the middle school. You want to give a 30-second on that?
Yep, so we've been working all year on creating coherent curriculum K-8. And we've been getting coaching support monthly from Communities by Design out of Grand Rapids. The teachers have been finding it very, very, very valuable. And we went from having kind of haphazard projects here and there to an actually coherent curriculum K-8 in its span of the year. So that's exciting.
And we're going to continue that professional development through our partnership with UCJB to fund it and send more teachers coming up this summer. We have 39 spots to fill at the Career Connect Center, so that's our CTE spots. We are responsible for all 39 spots paying for those, so we've been doing a lot of work of marketing to our kiddos of these opportunities. To my knowledge, we're going to fill all 39 at this point. And then Sean and I met with the Teacher Academy CTE instructor, who we have one slot as Galesburg-Augusta for our students to go into Teacher Academy. You do know, though, that we are doing our own future proud educators. We've got 11 kids, so we're hoping that that will stem into getting us 1 or 2 or 3 even more spots in that Teacher Academy because we have a system for it. So, increasing staff engagement. The work around FAME and MyKIP, a lot of those teams have done a ton of work this year. They get to show off next Monday. We have instructional rounds at the primary for the county-wide. So Teresa's been working on putting that PowerPoint together and really hosting our county to see that we are the only K-12 district that is doing K-12 instructional rounds. So something to show off and brag on and show that it can be done. Okay, budget meeting. So I've been telling you guys I really want to get with each building to do budget reports, so we were able to actually meet with each principal on their budget. What's been really nice is we can see what we've spent, but then we can go and also have a document at our fingertips that shows us where it was spent, was it in the right BUA, and how much do we have left, or do we need to even spend this school year? What other options and resources do we have, so maybe we're not touching our budget? So that was very, very helpful and insightful to be able to learn and continue to grow and be very, very in tune with what we're doing with our budget versus what we've been done in the past.
Nice.
Safety, are there any kids in here? Okay, we are hoping to get more vape detectors. We have one vape detector down here in the high school. It has been extremely successful. It dings when it's supposed to. We can go, no telling, secret, guys. But we see that it works and that we can manage it, so now we want to move forward with that. I have a conversation to have with Kaylee Wilson on what that will cost at the high school level, and then maybe a little bit at the middle school level as well. What else do we have? Spring so our safety team met last week, and so we just discussed what are some of the things coming up around safety. We know that we get windows left open, we know we get doors propped open, so what's that communication that we need to proactively send out to our staff? We're going to build our capacity on door programming so that we don't have doors being propped open with, a slippery when wet sign and whatnot. And then our behavioral threat assessment team has been diligently working. I don't know, we have talked about how we don't take any comment not serious. Every comment that's made that has to do with around a threat, we have our team meet. They've been super diligent on getting that going, not assessing it before, but going through that process to make sure that we do assess if there's a threat or not. So very proud of that team and the work that GA is doing with that. Stadium update, we have a mediation date set in May. Frank and I got on a call today. May 8th is what we're shooting for. Once we get confirmation on that, I'll share that with you. So yeah, that's coming up. I'm calling our new potential bond project 1125. It's just, I have a folder and that's where I'm filing it. So when I start saying 1125, this is what I mean. We have our timeline here. It is also on your handout, and it was in the weekly board update of how our process to go through finding a construction management team to work with us. So that process is laid out there. Transportation, we have 2 buses to discuss tonight on purchasing, so we're going to get through that a little bit later. Facilities, we are keeping a close eye on what we have. I'm not sure what this is. Let's say it's not. Let's just say. Denny, Frank, and I went through our mediation letter. That's been taking a lot of our time to make sure that we're prepared for that. So while we want to look forward, we're also looking a little bit behind to make sure that we are protecting the district as much as possible. I did learn that the expectation at mediation is that you contribute. We're going to pay for our $20,000 drain that we had put in that we use. We have contingency funds, and I'm not sure if we're going to have to use them or not. That is not the expectation where I sit right now, but I also have to go through that process to figure out what that looks like. Do we save more money by mediating or going to court? That's the question, and that's what we need to figure out. Extracurricular, we have athletics spring schedules on the website, so if you're looking to plan on getting some of those, put them on your schedule now. Final Forms is an online registry for sports. Mike and Jeff, so the athletic directors, have been figuring out about how much that's going to cost us. I have those prices for you. I have to decide in the next few weeks whether we're going to move there or not, but basically it's going to be no more paperwork. It's all going to be online. So, and we can send text reminders to the parents. So I'm thinking that that's probably where we're going to head. Wrestling, we've had a little some complaints in that department. I will talk with each one of you on an individual basis, but I just want you to know that I'm very aware of where we are with our wrestling program right now. Very confident in how we're handling it, and that I will get with you guys individually on and if there's any future steps in that program. Basketball districts are next Wednesday at Hackett, and then women's we are hosting here at GA the first week of March. So if you're interested in coming to that. We have our pre-festival concert because we had a snow evening last Wednesday, and that was when our concert was for festival pre-concert. So we're going to actually give them that same experience, but they're going to perform in front of our student body on Friday. So that's going to be pretty cool, exciting, different way to do that. And then I did find out that 226 is our high school festival, and 336 is our middle school. So I'm sorry to get those dates on there. I didn't get them in time, but those are going to be on the district calendar, so you can refer to those. We've been meeting together, principals and myself, to go over principal evaluations. So we were all trained in our evaluation process, both at our teacher level, but then also in our leadership level. And so we've gone through and done mid-year evaluations on areas of growth in each building and in each individual. That's been fun and successful and been fun to brainstorm. Then we have our GAIAA, so that's our Galesburg-Augusta Inspirational Alumni Award, coming up in April. So if you start seeing things on that, that's coming. Advisors communication is on here. I implemented a new position where there's an advisor liaison. We launched that at the beginning of the school year. We just touched base on it again today. There's a little bit more progress we need to make in that area, but again, I'm very aware of that process and everybody's feelings in that arena. So if you hear anything about advisors, please bring that to me, but it is underway and under control, on its way. Technology, we just updated our E-rate services for the next 5 years. Sorry, I'm trying to do super fast.
Nope, you're good. All right, business items for discussion, the monthly budget discussion.
Yeah, there's nothing really to report other than what was in the monthly report, but happy to answer questions.
I have a question. Is it possible, new guy on the block, and I spent a lot of time, about 3 hours, looking through the monthly payroll list, and it's hard to read, number one, because the print's so small. So I'm wondering, is it possible might end up with a couple extra pages, but can you increase the print size on that monthly bills payable thing so it's easier to read?
Payables?
I don't think our job as a board is to micromanage the way the budget's being spent, but rather to make sure that it's being spent properly. And as I went through that, I saw a lot of items that I thought were kind of questionable. I didn't raise it as an issue and ask for it to be removed, but what I'm going to do is kind of keep an eye on that and look through this very carefully for the next couple of months, and I may actually bring some of these issues up if I see them keep recurring, because I think some of them are kind of questionable.
Here, you have my phone number and email. You can reach out to me anytime you'd like.
I'm sorry?
You have my number and phone number and email, so you can reach
And
out to me
again,
anytime you'd
I
like.
think the thing to do is, I just wanted to raise it that, I don't know, I've been to a lot of meetings, whether they've been township meetings or city meetings or whatever, but the tendency is to just approve stuff without really looking at it. You don't have a lot of questions. That's been my experience. So I just wanted to throw it out that I did look at it. At the moment, I'm not going to raise any objections or anything else, but there's a lot of, it's a lot of funds that move in and out, especially out every month.
A lot
so.
moves. Yes.
A lot does move.
And
this
may
last
I-
month was
yes,
actually a
Treasurer.
small-
Yep.
So when it comes to financials especially, so I appreciate you taking the time to invest in it. It helps. I'm technically the treasurer only because I also, one of the reasons why is I want to make sure we are fiscally responsible to keep things going. And that's why we've been paying a lot of attention to where our, what is that percentage? Our base.
Our fund balance.
Thank you. Our fund balance, where we're at and where we want to be and what's appropriate to be at. And that's something we're striving for. So I definitely appreciate that. But I feel like everyone does do their due diligence too. So I appreciate you doing it as well. Nate's actually in banking as well. So it's helpful because we definitely throw things back and forth at each other financially to make sure we're accountable, not for individual expenses. And that's where definitely that relationship with Dr. Newton would be. But making sure we are within the realm of what we should be in for the overall look.
We have a lot of goals.
Yeah, so I appreciate that you're paying attention to that too.
Yep.
Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our pre-bond and implementation proposal from Tower Mixter.
Hello
So
there.
Sean's here to help me out. So there's
right.
been a little bit of communication about moving forward with looking at how we can get moving forward with our potential November bond. And so Sean's been my huckleberry in this. So he's here to help me speak to you guys.
Okay. Do you want me to give
Just
an
the
overview?
proposal, just
Kind of give you an overview?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we provided a letter proposal very similar to what we did in the last pre-bond effort. And the way that we typically set up these arrangements is we help the district scope the bond. As part of the bond process, we have to prepare a bond application that goes to the Department of Treasury. So you have to have a registered architect in the state prepare that. So we would be involved in the preparation of that. And then after a bond is scoped, what we typically would do is also assist the district with the informational campaign. And if there is a community group that wants to have an advocacy campaign, we would work with them as well. So I know some of you have been along for this process in the past. So the way we set up our arrangement is we defer the costs that we incur during this process. And so that keeps you from having to pay out of general fund right now, and those costs actually can get written into the bond application. So they are allowable expenses that can fall within the bond application. So when you do pass a bond, receive bond funds can be utilized to pay for our pre-bond effort. I think I was looking back just to be a little bit better prepared. I know a lot of times the questions we get are, how much would something like that cost? On the last bond, which had 2 attempts, so we had a couple of tries at passing that bond, we had about $51,000 in overall effort, and that was in creating the bond scope, community meetings, stakeholder group meetings, and $17,000 of that actually was for video production for the informational video. So really, on our end, we had about $34,000 of overall effort in leading up to a successful bond. Also within this letter, the way that we typically would like to work is we're working with you on the front end, deferring those costs, just kind of with the intent that we would then be brought on to help you implement the projects after the bond has been successfully passed. The fees that you see in there are consistent with what we had last time. 6% of the overall cost of the work is the fee that we propose for anything that would be brand new construction. So if it's a brand new building, that would fall under that umbrella. If it's something that's site work, additions or renovations, mechanical updates, you're adding on to a building, something of that nature, it's at 6.5% of the cost of the work. Reason why it's a little bit more is typically those renovation projects and addition projects with tie-ins, tend to be a little bit more messy and a little bit more involved in overall documentation. So that's kind of a high level, but I'm happy to answer questions and go through anything that you all have just curiosity about.
Did you say the expense last time around in 22 was $51,000?
That's my understanding. I think that was our final invoice, and 17 of which that was 2 attempts. Yep. So that was
plus the videography portion of it.
Yep. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. And we did lots of surveys and whatnot throughout the community too to make sure we had what we needed.
Right. Mm-hmm. Did you share the timeline, or do you want me to talk a little bit about?
Is it this one?
So that's from Troon. I know we put together one with just some high level bullet points as well. And
Those out because I've got 2 on this one as well.
okay, perfect. So timeline wise, for the pre-bond phase, if you're targeting November of this year, Lindsay's already set up a treasury meeting in June. That's when the dates are typically available, is about 6 months ahead of when the actual vote would happen. So that really, what that means is from now until June, that's kind of the window of time that we have to really work with you all, work with stakeholders to understand what the potential bond scope could be. It's our understanding right now that you want to pursue a 0 mil increase, which is great. Those are typically very high on the success rate throughout the state. But it's what the plan is and what goes into that is really the work that we have ahead of us over the next few months.
Nothing shiny.
What's that?
Nothing shiny.
Nothing shiny. No, that's
Maintaining our beautifulness.
It's question time.
sure. Yeah.
Not for Hannaford.
Oh, sure.
I'm just curious. So I kind of got blindsided by this whole thing because I didn't know it was coming. But is this going to be a 0 mil, another 0 mil increase proposal?
Yes.
Oh, so he missed this. He wasn't with us end of last year, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And that's when we went over this more
Yeah.
in detail.
So the current millage is at 6.4. I looked at it today. So if this proposal is put forth and doesn't pass, what will the millage reduce to for the 2025 December tax bills? Because it'll have to be reduced, I believe.
Well, there's two things going on technically, so this might be something we might want to talk about later,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a two-parter, so it's not just a bond change, but we're also looking at adjusting a different one to make it happen. So that's something, let's talk about this more later, so we're not, sorry, you can totally do this too.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
We've had 3 meetings to do this, so we'll catch
Correct,
you
we
up
can
on
catch
that.
you up when it's more appropriate.
Otherwise, we'd be here all night.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long session. It's not just a change in that, there's two
Well,
things that have to happen.
For those in the audience or elsewhere who don't know, I was the one who opposed the bond issue in 22. My reasons are well known for it.
Yep.
Suddenly here I'm sitting, and my knee-jerk, without having too much information, is I'm not going to be in favor of it, for the reason being,
We can't, hey Gary.
That's
we
not, just
can't
not
give our
appropriate timing.
Opinion yet right here, and then
but
especially being
I'm
board
just
members,
saying
so we
now
gotta.
that we're going to be asked to vote on an issue to allow this to go forward, but if I'm not on board with that, then, I mean,
And we can talk
So,
about.
yeah, so,
We can
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
discuss
all
that
of this.
in
We'll
public.
discuss this, but with you and kind of catch you up on how it, where things kind of stand and like why we're trying to go for this and all of that, because you are, you did come in January, and so we will be glad to catch you up and fill you in on all of the details about.
where we're at and why things are done.
We appreciate you being willing to serve on the board. You've already committed to that. So now what you started with questions, that's exactly where we need to be. So I will get you those answers and we'll work through that together.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's a lot of background.
Yes. Yeah. So. All right.
Awesome.
Any other questions? No? Thank you so much for
Yeah,
your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Too, thanks.
All right. C, construction management RFP.
Great. Anything that we want to touch base on with the construction management timeline? Can you pass this down, Teresa? These are timelines. It has the bond timeline on the back from True. Should we move forward with that? And then we've got a construction management timeline of picking a construction management teammate. We take one of those and pass it down, please. So just, Frank, if you just want to talk about the timeline real quick.
Sure. So part of this bond proposal, we need a construction management company on our team to help us with all sorts of things. They're really involved in estimating costs. I'm sure there's a ton that I'm not aware of, but that's the biggest one. You got to have a good estimate on, what you're going to be spending this money on, or what you can get with the money that you're going to get. So I reached out to 6 separate construction management companies that serve K-12 schools throughout Michigan, and ended up connecting with 5 who were interested in submitting a proposal for services. So last Friday, I had a walkthrough with representatives from those 5 contractors. We toured the primary, the transportation facility, and here at the high school, just to get those prospective bidders, just to make them aware of what we look like, what we got going on, who we are. Those contractors included Triangle, who we, of course, worked with recently, Miller Davis, Owens Ames Kimball, also referred to as OIK, Elite Structures, which is a Kalamazoo, and Fredericks. So you can see here, I'm waiting for questions to arrive from them that I'll answer by the end of the day tomorrow. The proposals are due on February 24th at 2 p.m. We'll meet shortly after that and open the proposals and discuss them. Then we'll try to shortlist it down to 3 or so candidates, and we'll schedule interviews with them and make our final selection by March 20th. And with your approval, offer a letter of intent.
How long do those, I just lost my word. How long do the estimates last? I can't think of the word I really wanted. How long do those typically last? Proposals.
I don't recall. It's good for 90 days, 100 days,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Is my recollection. Don't quote me on that. It's in
Give or
the
take. Okay.
it's in the proposal.
Okay.
90. Yeah.
Okay. At least we're not in the wood fluctuation time like it was. Okay.
The update. Frank's. Okay.
What? You good? Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Installment bus purchase agreement.
So Philip, do you want to touch base on
Sure.
this? You probably sound a lot better talking about it than I
Words are fun.
So the resolution that's in your packet does a couple of things. It approves the purchase of 2 used buses. I think they're 2021s. These are buses that are currently owned by Auxilio, who provides our transportation services. We've been using these buses. Auxilio stepped in and provided them some time ago when we were unable to get buses purchased because of delays in delivery and that kind of thing. So we've been paying Auxilio for the use of the buses. And so now we're in a position where we would just like to purchase those 2 used buses. So that's one thing it does. The other thing it does is it approves us borrowing funds to make the purchase. So the installment purchase agreement is basically a loan. It's a 3-year payback. And what we do is we go out, assuming board approval, we would then request bids from banks. So banks provide a bid of here's our cost to finance that loan, and then we select the lowest cost. True Law helps us navigate that. They vet all of the bids, make sure it's in line with the bid request, which they also put together. And so that timeline is we would, assuming board approval, we would issue the request for bids as early as tomorrow. We provide a couple of weeks for the banks to get a bid in. Again, Troon reviews all those bids and tells us this is your lowest cost bid, and then we take a week or so to close on that loan. Questions about what we're doing there?
We already did the comparison bid for the buses then,
Mhm.
and that was an appropriate.
Yep. We got some comparables. These are used buses, so it's a little tricky because they're very unique. But we did kind of look for like year buses, same size, same
Mileage.
same kind of mileage, and get those. They're what Auxilio is charging is less. And that's even including, it comes equipped with radio equipment already. So,
And they've been in our mechanic area, so they've been good buses so far.
yeah, as far as I know,
Okay.
they've been reliable buses. And
Okay, good. They've been good
They're
buses.
yes.
So
Okay.
you just say these buses they're new or they're used?
We're
used
renting them
buses,
currently.
2021s.
They're 2020. So they're used. But if you said we've been using them. Are these the ones we've been using? Are the ones we're going to buy?
Correct.
Correct.
Were they new when we got them to begin with?
I don't
We've been using
think
them for a
so. I don't know when. I can't remember exactly when we started
2
using
years.
them, but I think it was not in 2021.
I'm pretty certain we've been
Fairly
utilizing.
new.
These are diesel buses. Yeah.
We can't get. So we've had a whole bus issue
The
too.
only reason I ask that is that when you're buying used vehicles, you got to be really careful. So, but if we've had them, I mean,
Correct. And our
Yeah,
own
ours-
mechanic on
I
them.
don't
They
see
say
what you-
GA on them. We've been paying a rent on them. We're not going to pay a rent anymore. We're going to buy them.
Do we have
Stop wasting money.
documentation on the
I like it. The documentation.
purchase agreement?
It's not
It was in the email.
I didn't see it.
Purchase agreement is
Down below the tower picture. Oh, it is?
I have
Right,
it's
it's
90.
below the tower picture in the email.
Oh, you are. I'm with the purchase.
I've learned those separate emails.
Oh, the bid itself.
Do you want my paper one?
Oh, it's a separate. Sorry.
Yeah, the original board was still.
Awesome. So we're good.
Yep. Right.
Thank you.
Interim high school principal position.
Sorry, thanks,
So we've had lots of conversation on the restructuring that we started at the beginning of this summer, and how we could just restructure our administrative team a little bit. And we've got a curriculum director position. We've got our high school principal position that has been won, and it has had the title of interim on it. We do not want the interim anymore. We want to have Teresa King be our forever high school principal and curriculum director. That takes a little bit of balance on a lot of people's parts, but that is something that we want to celebrate. So I think we've got something out there, and I think we've got something back here to celebrate that. So Teresa, if you would please stand up.
Please stand.
Do you want it, first of all?
That she denies the position.
I'm fast.
I'm faster.
Galesburg-Augusta's new high school principal and curriculum director. So yeah, Teresa, you've worked. It's not easy to be a high school principal or middle school principal or a primary school principal. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of balance. It's a lot of sacrifice on the family's part. So we just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay with it too. We don't get to say no here. But yeah, we just honor that. So if we can get you, we can make that post with you, that'd be great.
a picture earlier.
You should take a picture over here and take a picture.
The point is to
before.
have you at the surprise.
Yeah,
I want to see you in tears.
Yeah.
you should get your flowers.
There's no post.
Sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean to walk right in front
Yeah,
of
he
you
can
guys.
hold. He's like, I got this. He's
Sorry.
not in your face. We gotta look that way. What a beautiful
Ready?
family. Rants and all.
Oh my god.
Congratulations.
This is my family. Can I say who
Yeah,
they are?
absolutely.
Okay. This is my husband Phil, and then this is my oldest Ethan, Landon, and then my mom. So
Thank you for sharing her.
yeah, mom is she lives in our neighborhood and she takes on so many kid responsibilities so I can balance. So
We really appreciate it.
oh my.
We love
She's
you.
resistant.
Good job.
Yeah,
Leader of
this
the pack.
is- And Teresa, because you do so much, you get to go home with your family now.
But I want to know what happens with the bus.
Thank you guys for taking the time and waiting for us. We were trying to be fast.
Just celebrate.
I can put these in your office if you want. All right, have a good night. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night. See ya, high school principal. Whoop, whoop. Needs to be removed by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
All right. Galesburg-Augusta Community Schools Foundation, additional trustees and proposed changes to the bylaws. So we had a meeting 2 weeks ago. One of the biggest changes to the bylaws is that they upped the number of trustees, which allowed us to add Becky Narola, Ryan Piper, and Jan Edgerton as trustees. So fantastic. And then just a few other kind of more wording changes in the bylaws that. So, and also kind of that goes along with that meeting. We also talked about scholarship too, and those were all due this weekend. So
We had 17 applicants for the
That's fantastic.
Galesburg-Augusta Schools Foundation. So we got all that information out so that we can get those going.
all right, MASB Board of Directors ballot.
That's you.
Am I speaking on that one? Okay.
Can.
So there's 2 candidates that you can choose from. I think I know Amber provided their information so that you can make an informed decision. But again, it's the only 2 names that she provided in that email. So do your research and let her know who we want. We're deciding on that tonight.
We have to decide
Yep.
because I have to cast the vote tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
It's Tiana Harrison or Elizabeth Odell that will be casting your vote
Very good.
as one.
So do they have discussion?
It's a decision.
We have a
It's in our.
Oh,
it's
You
in
have to
our.
decide as the board,
action
like who we're going to cast the vote for.
We're good.
Just making sure. All right, resolution authorizing truant for mediation.
Yes. So that's
This was
back
sent
as well.
in a separate email.
Yep, this was, Philip got to me the day that we sent it out, that Thursday, later on that afternoon, and asked for us to be able to get the authorization so that he can be our voice during mediation. He's been invaluable so far, very, very helpful organizing all of it and leading all of it. So yeah, we just need to get that signed and approved by you guys so that he can help us do our job.
Could you give a synopsis of the dispute?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So it's a 14-page document, but within that document, it states that they provided the correct materials. However, through lots of process and tests and whatnot, it was determined that the material that they provided needed to be removed from the field. And so somebody has to pay for that, right? That's what was under, what's up for mediation is who's going to pay for that part, because it's not going to be the district, but we needed to move it along. So we decided, think back last spring, that we were going to do the work forward and that we would get to mediation down the road once the project was done. So that's what we're trying to determine now.
Just curious.
Any other questions? Communications, public participation. Do we have anybody that wanted to publicly speak tonight? You'll be given 3 minutes. No? All right. Business items for decision. The pre-bond and implementation proposal. Howard Priester. I will entertain a motion.
A motion to accept GA pre-bond and implementation proposal from Tower Peaks Director.
I'll support.
Any other questions or discussion? No. Roll call vote, please.
Shoot,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Gillette,
We're voting.
Me?
Yep.
No.
Davidson,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Wilkes,
Yes. Vote carries 6-1. No, 5-1. All right. Installment bus purchase agreement. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to adopt the installment purchase agreement subject to final revisions to the agreements as approved by the superintendent, positive inspection of the buses, and securing financing through the installment purchase.
Support.
Not there yet.
Any
Not
other
yet.
questions
Oh,
or discussion?
Can I just add one
Yep,
point?
absolutely.
One of the lawyers from Troon, he was looking at the agreement. He doesn't normally see the agreement, but he wanted to give a little bit of feedback on that. So we're approving, but we can pen changing a few words up because the bus was purchased in Ohio, and he just wants to make sure that we're all good to go on that. So I
Legal
just want to let you know that
terminology.
that's still coming, like that's still out there.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Horsey,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Gillette,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Shoot,
Yes.
Wilkes,
Yes. All right, motion carries 6-0. Appointment of Teresa King as high school principal curriculum director. Okay, motion.
Make a motion to appoint Teresa King as high school principal curriculum director.
I'll support.
Any other questions or? All right, roll call vote, please.
Horsey,
Yes.
Gillette,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Smeltzer, sorry, Shoot,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Galesburg-Augusta Community Schools Foundation, additional trustees and proposed changes to bylaws.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Becky Norola, Brian Piper, and Jan Edgerton for board trustees for the Galesburg-Augusta Community School Foundation. I'll support.
Any other questions or? All right, roll call vote, please.
Gillette,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Shoot,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. All right, and now the Galesburg-Augusta Community Schools Foundation proposed changes to bylaws.
I'll motion to approve the proposed changes to bylaws for the Galesburg-Augusta Community Schools Foundation as presented.
I'll support.
Any other questions? All right, roll call vote, please.
Horsey,
Yes.
Gillette,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Smeltzer,
Yes.
Shoot,
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Vote carries 6-0. MASB Board of Directors election.
Discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, we.
Did anyone have any huge pros or cons that they noted?
Other than
normal.
Our county, that's I was kind of new
Correct.
for our county.
For local.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, that was my kind of thing with the whole.
We can
teacher
talk to
here,
her
so.
at things more often.
Right, and knows kind of what happens in this county
Yeah.
already, so it is kind of a difference between those two counties personally.
Yeah.
But there was
I know that
nothing
county,
notable
so-
otherwise.
Nothing notable to me.
Who's the one that's in our county?
Tiana Harrison.
In Kalamazoo Public Schools.
So she's
Yeah.
the president of their school board, right?
Yeah, and I will say too, I mean, she was a little more, I thought, proactive than the other candidate as well.
Yeah, she comes to everything, like every conference.
She just seemed to
yeah,
want
she's
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she's a little bit more, I mean, like, it's hard to say because it's different, but she's also very much, kind of like you, she's very out there. Like, I mean, you can find her stuff
Yeah.
out there, you search her name.
So nothing very notable otherwise. Okay. Is everybody comfortable?
Yes, I am.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
You gonna do it?
I'll motion to cast a vote for Tiana Harrison for MASB Board of Directors.
I'll support.
Any other questions for the group? All right, roll call vote, please.
Davidson.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Gillette.
Yes.
Smeltzer.
Yes.
Shu.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. And resolution authorizing Troon for mediation. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the GACS resolution authorizing Troon Law Firm PC to engage in non-bidding mediation on behalf of the district.
I'll support.
Not
Any-
binding.
Yeah,
Just a
not binding.
clarification.
What did I say?
No,
Sorry.
you said bidding.
Thank you. Thanks for the help.
Just for clarity.
I appreciate that.
Any other questions? All right, roll call vote.
Corsi.
Yes.
Davidson.
Yes.
Gillette.
Yes.
Shu.
Yes.
Smeltzer.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Yes. Vote carries 6-0. Motion carries.
Good job, team.
All right, on to communications. Board comment. We can go around the room. We'll start with.
Last Friday on Valentine's Day, I had the opportunity to be at the primary for the board/teacher bonding time, and it went really well. So I did bring snacks. I was proactive there via what Nate said because I was unfortunately not able to make it to the high school one. And I met a lot of new teachers I have not met before that are first or second year, so that was really cool. And then a lot of friendly faces that I already knew. And they were upset, well, not upset, but disappointed that some individuals, obviously, we were all unhealthy. So it'd be fun, I think, to do down the road where we can have more interaction as well.
I just want to basically, only one is here, so thank you to staff for being so proactive in my children's time spent here at Galesburg-Augusta. No, I really do. I appreciate how much our staff is invested into our students, and it was just highlighted for me today, so thank you.
Sarah?
Not a whole lot. I mean, on a personal note, I got a former GA grad who's going to be our new pet house sitter with orientation starting this summer. So, replacing my personal grad who failed the job with another former grad. So that's exciting for us. So keep it in the family here.
Gary, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple. With respect to this bond issue, I can't support something I know absolutely nothing about, and so that's the reason for my no to start. As I know more, I might change my mind. One thing I do want to point out, if you're a property owner, you already know it. Taxable values in the past 3 years have increased 13.3%. That's taxable value, so that's what you multiplied by the millage rates on your tax bill. That's a huge amount. And we haven't seen the assessments come out this year yet, but my understanding is it's going to be about that same 3.5%. So the net effect is over the last 4 years, we've had close to a 17% increase in taxable values. This is not a rich community, and that's a sting because nobody's wages have gone up this much. So part of the reason when you get into governments, whatever it is, asking for money is that these are real issues for people. And
100%.
so it's an element that cannot be ignored. It has to be wrapped into the whole equation.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter, what the specifics are, but anytime somebody comes asking for more money, there's always going to be resistance. And this is a big part of it right here. So.
Absolutely.
But I just want to say that my no vote was based simply on no information. And
Very fair.
No one else in my position would probably do anything different. So let's see what happens as I get more information and we'll go from there.
Being open-minded.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Nate?
Dr. Newton and I have already talked a little bit about the luncheons that we were able to have with the schools, and yes, we're going to do them again. I'm so excited. The middle school is the only one that I missed. Had some amazing discussions at the high school and the primary. Had a lot of kids roll through here, and the same as Diana was saying, is just so many new faces that, that they either didn't teach my kids or they weren't here when my kids came through, and now I've got more kids coming. And it was just cool. I got my nieces were able to come in for lunch with me. My son came in with me at the primary. So it was just so neat to see them all reacting with the teachers that they don't even have yet, because the teachers are reaching out to students that aren't in their grade. So it really speaks to the Ramilly and all the work that's been going on in the community. So it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can.
Are you breakfast version? I think breakfast things. Pre-work is
Not
good
a
for
morning
me.
person.
I'm not, but pre-work is easier for me because I can go in an hour late.
I just crossed out lunch. I put breakfast.
There we go.
We can have an early
Just a
pancake
little coffee,
get
little
together.
donuts.
We could figure something out, right?
Eggs are so expensive now.
Pancakes.
I
said pancakes.
You get muffins.
Can't have
cheaper
eggs
than
in our
eggs.
district.
All right.
Pancakes with water on the stove.
Thank you to all of you who could go to the luncheons. Of course, of us who couldn't make it, really appreciate that.
We were
So,
real
thank you. Just, a music booster heart pushing. They come to concert Friday. I know it's last minute, but it just shows support for kids.
That's going to be at 11:30 or 12. It's one of those two. Just text me.
I just found out about it today. So.
I think it's 11:30 because we have lunch afterwards.
The Father-Daughter Dance is this coming weekend as well for AFCAC, so we're very excited about that. We've already had 125 girls register, and that's not, we always have at least like 50 to 60 more show up at the door. So it's looking to be a great time. So again, if anybody is free this Saturday, we will be 68. If you just want to pop in and see the most adorable kids. So that's it. That's all I have. So.
John was very excited.
I'm excited to see it. It's my favorite one to do. All right, I adjourn the meeting at 6:52.